Welcome back everyone. Hope you have installed the Turbo C compiler very well. If you have any doubts, just comment it below. I will get to you. Okay. So in this video lecture, we are going to have a look over variables and how to declare a particular data type variables, as well as we are going to have some input output strings, as well as we are going to have a look over the if statements, if else and nested if, everything related to if statements. So this would going to be a great lecture, so let's start without wasting time. So we will just write the basic header files, that is hash include stdio.h, then hash include onio.h. Okay, next is void main, and then we are going to write clr that is our clear screen. After that, this is the code part I will leave for the get ch to get the output screen. Okay, so this is our main frame, or we can say the main body of our code. So within this frame we are going to write our code now. So basically there are uh, so basically to declare a variable we have to give the data type space the variable name, okay, and a semicolon. So what kind of data types we can give is int, we will give as a num, for example, and float as fl. Okay, after float there is a double, after that there is a long, and we have character. So these are the basic data types which you need to know for using it into the code. So what is the variable? Basic question is that what is a variable? Variable means what? So let's take an example. What is a variable? Assume you have a bag, random bag, okay, school bag. So let its color be blue, okay. So you have a blue color bag with you, and you have only one bag with you. So what is the purpose of a bag? To store a book. So suppose you go to your college and you carry 5 books with you. So for your day college you carried 5 books. After that you came home back at the noon, and after a few hours you went to your classes, okay, with the same bag, but the quantity of books changed at this time. So now you carried around 3 books. Let it be any 3 books, 4 books, anything. So suppose we take as a 3 book, you carried 3 books to the college. Uh, you carried 3 books to your classes and it came back. So over here, the bag you carry is the variable name. Okay, is the variable. The number of books, the amount of books is your value that it stores. So same way, the memory which is going to be used for storing a particular value by the program is called a variable. So if you want some particular memory, okay, so every data type have their own specific memory allocation. So if you want an integer to be stored in a particular memory, it will be stored and it will be recognized by the variable name. Suppose we gave a variable int, okay, so we will define int stands for integer. So it will store the values like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 99, 112, and so we gave over here a num. Okay, so Particularly, parallelly, I will write the code for adding two numbers. Okay. So double forward slash is for writing a comment. So adding two numbers. Okay. So for adding two numbers, we need two numbers variables which could store these values. Okay, so we took int1, num1 and int num2. Okay, so I separated these two variable names by a comma. Okay, you can separate it by writing on new line as a int num2, or just by comma it will save the line of code. Okay, so over here we can directly write num1 plus num2 and show the output, but we can also write a variable, another variable sum, to store the value. So what it will do is it will allocate a memory named as num1 as a reference num1, another memory as num2, and the third memory as a sum. So anytime I need num1, I will just give the reference of num1, variable name num1. So it will go to that particular storage location and will get the value whatever is stored in that. So we got three variables right over here. Now we want user to enter the values. Okay, enter first value. Okay, got colons and space, and closing of round brackets. Okay. And this is for output. Printf is for output on a screen. To take the input, we have scanf. Okay, double quotes percentile d, in the digit, comma, the variable name num1. Okay, brackets close. Now we want to get num2. Printf, enter second for this value, enter second value, semicolon, scanf, percentile d, comma, num2. Okay, so now we got both the numbers from the users. Now we have to add them. So sum equal to num1 plus num2, semicolon. What it will do is it will add num2 and num1 and store it in sum. Okay. So press now enter and show the output. Printf, double quotes, addition is equal to percentile d, comma, sum. So before going to this, there is a correction. There is ampersand mark to show the location. Okay, so there is two things over right over here. I want to like you to know, that is the star mark is for showing the pointer. Okay, and ampersand is for the location. Okay. Okay, so two things are used over here. We are using the ampersand mark to show the location of the num. So now with this code we are going to just alt so we are going to compile this, alt F9. It's a success. Now we are going to do is control F9 and we will give the value 12 and 13, that is 25. So this is a code to add the two numbers. We basically use this int, and if we are getting a division program, so we are going to use float for decimals. Okay, float, double, long are for decimals. So float is a basic one, uh, but when you need accuracy, you definitely go for long or double. So now for float, we are going to do is just change this slash, and in place of addition, division. As we change it to float, we have to change this digit to f. Okay. Okay. As well as we are going to change this percentile d as f. So d is for digits and f is for float values. So we are going to do is alt F9, that is compiling, which is successful. Now control F9, and we are going to write 25 divided by 3 is 8.333. Okay. So as you change this data type, you have to make sure that scanf percentile data type is also changed. Okay, or else it will give an error or might give 0 as an output. So after this, we are going to see the if statements. So we saw the input output as well, printf for the outputs display and input for scanf, and the data types and the variable names. Now we are going to see the if and else if. So we are going to write a code for finding greater than two numbers. Greater than. Okay, a greater than code between two numbers. So we don't need float, we go for integer. Integer is more than enough for us. I will write st greater is also a d. In place of sum, we'll write greater. Okay, so over here, as we did the arithmetic operation. Okay, so now we are going to look at the sum of the arithmetic operators right now before going for the if statements. So some of the arithmetic operators are plus, as we all know, subtraction, multiplication, division. Okay, this is modulus. So after this, we are going to see. So now we are going to see the if statement. So basic if structure is if num1 is greater than num2, brace brackets. If num1 is greater equal to num1, what we are going to do is, if a number is num1 is greater than num2, then we are going to save the num1 value in the greater variable. Else greater equal to num2. Okay, so what does this mean is, if the num1 is greater than num2, suppose we took the two numbers as 3 comma 6, or suppose we took the number as 7 comma 3, 7 comma 3, 7 and 3 are the two numbers, so definitely 7 is greater than 3, so num1 is greater than num2, so the num1 value is stored in greater, and it will show the greater as 7, while if our num1 was 3 and num2 was 7, then this would be false, this won't be true, so this won't be executed. So what it would have done, it would have gone for the else part and showed as num2 is greater or both are equal, then num1 will be false, num1 is greater than num2, it is false, then it will definitely execute the else part. So if this part is false, if this part is false, then it is going to execute this for sure. Okay, so we are going to just compile it, alt F9, it is success, control F9 to run. We are going to give first value as 7 as we said, and 3, so greater is 7. We are again going to execute this and give 3 first and then 7, again greater is 7. Next time we are going to execute as 3 and 3 as both are equal, so greater is 3. So this is a basic if else statement. Next we are going to see as a nested if. Nested if means if statement, if condition statement inside another if condition statement. Okay, so we are going to change the question, finding greater than between three numbers. As we were going for the two numbers before, so we are going for three numbers now. So we are going to take num3 as well. So I forgot to give the comma for separation. Okay, now if num1 is greater than num2, so we are not going to just swap the value from num1 to greater. We are not going to store the num1 value to the greater. Rather, we are going to check for num3. Okay. So if num1 is greater than num3, then greater equal to num1 else greater equal to num3. Okay, so according to this condition, if num1, let us take the three numbers. Let us take the three numbers as 9, as 9, 6 and 3. So according to this, 9 is greater than 6. So this is true. It will come and check if 9 is greater than 3. Yes, it is true. Then it will store the value 9 into the greater variable. But if this is our 10, then else it will save the 10 variable 10 value in the greater. Okay, same way else. Else if num2 is greater than num1. Okay, so if num2 is greater than num1, then it will definitely check for if num2 is greater than num3. If it is true, then store the value of num2 into greater variable. Else store the value of num3 in greater variable. Num3. Okay, so this is the code. So what it will do, it will just go for num1 and num2. We'll take a example right over here, just comment it, and we'll take an example for this part as our num1 is 2 and our num2 is 9 and num3 is 5. Okay, so now num2 is greater than num1, so it will come to the else part. Okay, then it will check if num2 is greater than num3, that is true. 9 is greater than 5, then it will store the value of 9, that is then it will store 9 into the greater. Else if this is 5 and this is 9, then this will be false, that is num2 is definitely greater than num1. It will come to the else part. It will check if 5 is greater than 9, that is false, so it won't be executed. Now it will go to the else part and it will store the value of 9. Before doing this, we have to take the third value as well from the user. So printf enter third value, scanf double quotes percentile d. For taking the digit, that is integer. For integers we use d, for float we use f. Okay, and percent num3, that is storing the value in the location of num3 variable. Num3 basically refers to a location, memory location, so it will directly store the value into the num3. Okay, so now our code is ready to execute. We will compile it first. So Alt F9 for compiling. It is a success, no errors, no warnings, and Control F9 to run it. So we are going to write 259 as we saw the last case, 2, 5 and 9. So greater is 9. So this is the code for finding the greater than between three numbers. So I forgot this 9, 6, 10. We can execute this as well. Control F9, 9, 6, 10 plus 9, 6, 10. The greater is 10. Okay. So this is the code. You can refer it. You can pause the video and just note it down in your diary.